Good afternoon. This is a photo of the most important day of my career. It was the day I became an entrepreneur. It was opening day, June 2nd, 2000, and I was 27 years old. That's me in the tie. That was the last day I wore a tie in my restaurant. Opening the doors to my first restaurant has brought me a great deal of happiness and joy. I love my career so much that I don't even consider it work. It's my identity, it's who I am, it's in my soul, and it's really, really awesome. Having an entrepreneurial career has let me do all the things that I love to do over the last 12 years. I get to lead. I get to create things from absolutely nothing, build restaurants from scratch, make dishes. I get to wear jeans to work. This is good stuff. But how did I get to there, to my June 2nd, 2000? I mean, hard work and preparation, yeah, that's a given. But the mind of an aspiring entrepreneur has to be twisted just right to have the fortitude to jump off that entrepreneurial cliff. Because if you don't have your June 2nd, 2000, your opening day, you can't enjoy the entrepreneurial career. So today, I've tried to think back and try to figure out what it was that was going through my mind in the years leading up to June 2nd, 2000, that enabled me to get a business, in this case a restaurant, not to become successful, but rather just to the starting line. So people always ask, how did I find my passion? And I think that's the wrong way to think about it. It's too passive. I mean, I was 17 years old, and I was a busboy in a restaurant. I was refilling waters and resetting tables. This was not an exclusive experience. But I saw a lot of fun. I saw a lot of excitement. I saw cooks cooking and chefs yelling, and I saw servers taking care of guests who were eating, drinking, and having fun. And so I got excited about it. People were having a great time. There could have been other fields that I could have chosen to become passionate about, but my experience was a restaurant, and that's what I chose to become excited about. It wasn't love at first sight. It wasn't something that I stumbled upon. It doesn't just happen. The future entrepreneur has experiences and evaluates them not for what they are, but for what they could be. They find something that has potential for them, and then they choose to become passionate about it. The worst thing a future entrepreneur can do is follow that normal path. As a Georgetown University student back there in 1995, I graduated then, the normal thing for me to do would have been to go to law school and become just another lawyer. But instead, I met a family friend who was in the restaurant business. I sat down with him and I asked him what it would take to make a great career in that industry. And so for me, the road not taken was turning that very expensive diploma into an $8 an hour restaurant job. And then converting that experience into 2 years at culinary school, where a typical day might involve tasting wine, stuffing sausages, and taking a chainsaw to a 500-pound block of ice and turning it into a swan. You know, fun stuff. The road I took raised a few eyebrows amongst my family and my friends, but for me, it truly has made all the difference. If your goal is to climb a ladder, not because you want to become the vice president of a certain department, but rather because someday you want to own a ladder, comfort equals complacency. I can still remember how stressed I would be in my early 20s every time I was working in a new restaurant, because there was so much to learn. And I like to say that, you know, if you're starting on Sauté Station for the first time in a restaurant on a particular evening, the guest really doesn't care whether it's day 1 or day 100. And there was so much to learn. But what I realized was that was a good thing that I was uncomfortable, because as long as I could be uncomfortable, I knew I was just learning a ton. Now, this would drive my boss crazy because I kept asking to be in new positions all the time. So when I first started out, I was a host, and then I was plating desserts, and then I was frying calamari, and this is all within about a 6-month period. And then I got a second job waiting tables just so I could learn that. Then I started working on grill station, and then saute station. Then I went to culinary school where every day was new and different, and there was so much to learn. And then I graduated, and I got a job as a sous chef. And as soon as I became even decent at that, I quit and became a dining room manager. I mastered none of it. But it was the experience. It was the experiences I was after. I mean, after all, I was only 26 years old at this time. For the future entrepreneur, once something starts to feel comfortable, that is the sign that it's time to seek out new challenges and opportunity. If you really want to accomplish nothing in life, then just wait around for the perfect opportunity. I was 27 years old. I was 27 years old when I walked into the space that would soon become my first restaurant. The place had been abandoned by the previous tenant. And I mean literally abandoned. There were uniforms and napkins just strewn on the bar. And over here in the dining room, there were plates, dirty plates with dirty glassware still on the table. And in the kitchen, every faucet in the whole place was dripping and leaking. Half the equipment didn't even work. I was in there with flashlights because 6 months prior, the electricity had been cut off. But there still was a ton of food in all the walk-in refrigerators. The smell was so bad. It was awful. The stench, vile. But to me, all of it was a dream come true because it was my opportunity. And so when I signed the lease, we went down and cleaned the whole place out. And I actually tried to hire a company to go in there and actually clean it all up. But nobody wanted to do it. So I did it myself. And the point is that an opportunity that's held together with duct tape is still an opportunity. A future entrepreneur picks an opportunity, and just gets to work. To me, life is an amazing, wonderful, and awesome thing. But in the history of mankind, over 1 billion people have lived. And without exception, their lives have resulted in their deaths. Life is a terminal experience. There is no ninth inning comeback. The game just ends at a certain point. The opportunity to win, or more importantly, to even just play, that time is now. So I grasped this, even as a 20-something-year-old, and I understood that life was not something to be coddled nor frivolously wasted. A future entrepreneur understands that life is meant to be lived. You have to go after it because life is not forever. And for me, that was the ultimate incentive to make it to my opening day. And I hope all the future entrepreneurs in this room, or for anybody else, they're able to make it to theirs. Thank you very much.